Handling legal matters is stressful. So, let the law offices of Frank Bruno Jr. provide you with the insightful counsel you deserve. The law offices of Frank Bruno Jr. has successfully handled thousands of cases for 25 plus years. They focus on elder law and estate planning, but are equipped to navigate you through all stages of family law and divorce to real estate law and probate. The law offices of Frank Bruno. Call 718-418-5000 or visit them at frankbrunolaw.com. That's frankbrunolaw.com. Frank Bruno. He's your numero uno.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Let's go right to Michael Goodwin, Pulitzer Prize winning columnist for the New York Post. Michael, what did you make of the debate?
Well, look, I think it was a disaster for Joe Biden. I don't think he can recover from it. I know he's out there today on the hustings with Lady Macbeth, insisting that he's in the race and he just had a bad night. That was not a bad night, and you cannot unsee what we all saw. So I think there's going to be a little time, but I think they're going to have to have a meeting and try to make him comfortable, as they say about abortionists.
Well, right now he's on 3rd Avenue someplace because the streets are closed.
Yeah, he's coming to town. What do you make of, I want to get your reaction too, because Barack Obama put out a tweet and it says bad debate nights happen. And then we heard the message. It seems like the messaging in the last 2 or 3 hours was that was a bad night, but look at Trump. That's sort of their philosophy. Your thoughts, Michael?
Well, look, I think there will be a time period here where there will be some assessment. I don't think it's going to be an instantaneous decision, but let's say they'll give it a week or two. They'll have conversations. Most importantly, they'll check the polls. They'll check the fundraising. And what will be the impact of that debate, I think, will guide the decision. Now, I think it was a disaster. I think and I believe the polls will show that. Don't forget, Trump was already opening a lead. I mean, the polls are all over the place generally, but most of them had him in a lead, both in the popular vote and in the most of the swing states. So you would have to believe that if there's any impact from the debate, it is going to be in Trump's favor. He did not have a perfect debate, but he didn't need to. And I think that if the polls in the next week or two show a significant increase for Trump's margin, let's say, and today, for example, he's in Virginia. Let's say Virginia starts to move toward Trump. Let's say Minnesota continues, Nevada, where you have these blue states in play and moving toward Donald Trump. And along with the red states, of course, the Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina, then I think if you're a Democrat and you're in a party position, you're saying, we're going to get killed. We're going to lose the House, we're going to lose the Senate, and we're going to lose the White House. So
yeah, they're in panic mode.
Yeah, at that point, it's all hands on deck. It's an emergency, and they've got to find a way. Now, technically, I think Biden has to agree, just because of the delegates, the rules. But if he agrees, there are many ways around it.
All right. Michael Goodwin, Governor Patterson has a question for you.
So, Michael, this term, a bad night, it's being thrown around all day. And, it depends. Like, 150 years ago, General Custer had a bad night, and that's a bad night. But Biden, that was self-inflicted.
God, you're the best.
I don't see any reason.
That's a bad night.
That's a bad night. God, you always have the best singers. We adore you.
That ruined his weekend. That ruined Custer's weekend.
And Mrs. Custer said...
We're crying. By the way, I am laughing so hard I'm crying now. Go, Patterson.
Other than the event, did you enjoy the war, Mrs. Custer? But Michael, the point is, I more respect people like former Governor Rendell, who we had on earlier. He admitted that Biden was terrible last night and was trying to put together a plan that he could recover from it, rather than these people who think like you just say something and other people are going to believe it. No one's going to believe it. Everyone saw it.
Well, yes, people saw it, and it doesn't come out of the blue. I mean, it's obviously a big surprise, but when you rewind the tape, I mean, it's there all along. We've been seeing this for 3.5 years. We just never saw it that way because his campaign and his White House aides have done a very good job of shielding him. So everything is on a teleprompter. You never get a chance to ask him more than one or two questions in most of those press conferences. He knows who's going to ask a question. He probably knows in general what the question's going to be. So here you are in this situation that you can't control it. You've done your best to set the terms. CNN and Trump have agreed to most of the terms you wanted, including no audience. But you can't function. You had a week's vacation to prepare for this, and you came in like this. I mean, whatever he was on, if he was on anything, somebody messed up with the medicine. But that was a disaster, and you cannot unsee that. And as I say, it is a kind of exclamation point to the health issues we have seen throughout his presidency.
And I'm sure our enemies, Russia, China, etc., were all watching.
Absolutely. That's something to worry about. What if he has one of those moments, one of those bad nights, in a national security moment? Then what?
Yeah, it's interesting. By the way, the Polish foreign minister, and I want to explain the context, he's liberal. He came out and said, like, some people need to know when it's time to ride off to the sunset. That I thought was a really powerful comment. I mean, that's already to John's point, sort of messaging coming out from the world.
Yes, I mean, it's impossible to imagine Joe Biden being president 4 years from today, right? I mean, he's not going to get better with age. And look, let's be honest, it's not his age. It's something else. A lot of people his age and older are sharp. He's not sharp. There's something going on. I mean, a lot of people say it's dementia. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not really familiar with anybody who has dementia, thankfully. But something has happened to him. I mean, he's like a wax figure.
Oh, is this Custer, Mr. Custer? We're playing Mr. Custer, by the way. Michael Goodwin, in honor of the Governor Patterson's great joke.
Let me just tell you something quickly. Mrs. Custer wrote a wonderful book called Boots and Saddles. If you get a chance, it's a terrific book it's a period book about her life and his life, on the frontier. I read it years ago. I'll never forget it. Great book.
Well, very interesting.
We have 1 minute left. Anything else we want to tell our million people so listening?
Well, look, I do think that Donald Trump still has some work to do in his campaign and in his delivery. I think his misses last night were overshadowed by a great degree by Biden's performance. But I think that Trump still needs to work on some of these issues if he's going to broaden the tent. And that's the only objective he needs. Biden helped him enormously last night. But I think Trump also has to help himself. He was good, but he could be better. And I think that's what he's got to think about in the future. There may or may not be another debate, but he's still got to reassure a lot of people who are on the fence that he's ready for this.
Michael Goodwin, thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Pleasure. Thank you all.
Let's pray for America.